Break out the champagne. Everybody get a glass.
Tavis Smiley is now ranked number 16 nationally and the highest rated talk show hosted by an African American on the 2025 Talkers Heavy 100 list of the most important talk radio hosts in the nation. Last year, Tavis ranked number 33 and the year before, number 45. The Tavis Smiley Show has rapidly expanded its national syndication to now include nearly 50 radio stations across the country and counting. Congratulations, Tavis.
Yeah.
KBLA delegation, here comes your Friday night sports fix. Out of bounds in prime time. Get on your feet and make some noise for your out of bounds starting lineup. It's Ray Richardson, your LA sports authority, and Neal Scarbrough, the editor extraordinaire. They're bringing the heat with no filter and no chaser on KBLA Talk 1580. These fellas have a lot to talk about.
With the love I have inside of me, we can turn this world around. We can live through all eternity, and we never touch the ground. We'll take a chance to ride upon a star to a place that's far away. The light of love will shine on us forever and a day.
KBLA Talk 1580, where we always have a lot to talk about. Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA, in the heart of Los Angeles. Welcome forward to Out of Bounds, a show that brings some flavor and brings the heat for 60 minutes with some black folks flavor. Good evening. My name is Ray Richardson with my guy Neal Scarbrough, the editor extraordinaire. We are here with you for the next 60 minutes, giving you some real flavor, some barber room, some barbershop talk on the world of sports. You can join the conversation. Here's our number, 1-800-920-1580, 1-800-920-1580. And a special welcome to all our folks out there in YouTube Nation. Thank y'all so much for joining us. If you got comments, you can join the conversation as well. Just hit us up in the chat box and we will shout you out right now. Hey, man, how you doing, Neal? How you feel, man?
Man, I'm feeling great, man. How about you, man? It's an exciting sports time. We got a couple things on our mind, though, but it's a good sports time. So, So what's pinning you down this week on the sports world? What you thinking about?
In addition to the NFL championship weekend, we'll get into that a little bit later on, but here's something that's on my mind right now. Yesterday was a pretty solemn day in the NBA. 20-year anniversary of Kobe Bryant knocking down 81 points in a game against the Toronto Raptors. Did that here on January 22nd, 2006 at Staples Center. And it made me think about, will we ever see that kind of performance again? And I'm almost to the conclusion that I don't think we will. There's only two guys that I think have a shot at doing it.
Yep.
And I'm gonna give you my two names right now.
The current
that are playing right now. Yeah, Luka Doncic. He's had a 70-point game already. He had 73 in his last season with Dallas. And Donovan Mitchell with Cleveland. He also has had a 70-point game. Yeah, he had a 70-point game in 2023. And you may be surprised by this, but Joel Embiid did have a 70-point game once for Philadelphia.
I do remember that now.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to do it again.
What about Shea McShay in Oklahoma
Shea
City? Yeah, yep.
I thought about him, but because he is so selfish and such a playmaker, such a team player, I don't think he wants the ball in his hands that much to throw 80 points down on somebody.
I feel like if he did, like if his team had to ride
him,
he had to, he would get those repeated opportunities on offensive end. Now, it's funny because anybody seems like, not anybody, but you get a lot of guys dropping these 50-something games nowadays, who are averaging 18, 19, 24 points, and then boom, they drop a 50, 55. Yeah. So it's not out of the ordinary to think that somebody like Luka might extend what he can do
because he has the ball
up into the
so
70s and the 80s.
Yeah.
So I think the game is built for somebody to do it, but I don't know if the players are built to do it.
Yeah. Andy, I see you over there trying to get in on this. What you got, man? What you got to say?
I just wanted to add Devin Booker to the list as well, who scored about 70 points, who almost got there.
Crash test dummy.
And speaking of Devin Booker, he did it in 2017. He's the youngest player to ever have a 70-point game. Now, I didn't put him on there because I don't think he's that kind of player anymore, but he did do that in 2017.
Yeah, he was something a little bit more before.
Exactly.
I mean, he's a great player still, but he was a microwave before, and they needed him to be. Based on who was on that roster. Yeah. So okay.
So anyway,
okay.
that's first thing on my mind.
I want to say not necessarily a solemn day of remembrance for Kobe because he's not here. It was like a celebration of how good he was and what he was able to do. So let's flip that and say it was the 20th anniversary of a great accomplishment.
It was.
Right. You know, I'm going to tell you what's on my mind is despite all this great football, had a great national championship game on Monday in college, right?
Yeah.
And then the NFL playoffs are looking good. We got all this great stuff we're talking about. Winter Olympics about to start. You know, things going down. I still get caught up on why is college sports so messed up, man. Right? This week or at the end of last week into this week, we had the situation where the Duke University had to sue their own quarterback because he signed a 2-year deal, NIL deal with them a year ago. And then this year he's like, hey, I'm going to Miami, y'all. See you later. And they're like, not so fast. So they had to sue this kid. So you got schools taking their own players to court to enforce deals. Then we have this situation with the kid, Charles Benito. What's his name? From
Charles Bettiato.
From Alabama. From Alabama, who actually went to the G League for a couple of years, and they came back now and petitioned the NCAA to let him back, and they said not so fast. And then a court judge from Alabama, of course from Tuscaloosa, specifically said, no, y'all got to let him play. And of course the Alabama coach is like, well, if they said he could play, who am I to deny him this opportunity? And it reminds us of the other guy, Nanjay from Baylor, who went 4 years to play EuroLeague and then got back into school.
Now the difference that he got drafted, this kid from Alabama didn't get drafted.
Yeah, right.
And they're trying to make that a stipulation. Well, if you get drafted and you sign a contract, you should not be allowed to come back.
Well, that shouldn't be the stipulation. The stipulation should be if you were a pro, you can't play in college.
That's the
stipulation, right? So I think we sound like old guys, like these kids were trying to teach them values and what can they learn from this? This is what we can. They don't need to learn nothing. They're kids, right? They'll learn it. They'll learn when their fingers get burned. Right. This is what we can learn. Right. Given any opportunity, humans, especially young ones, are going to be greedy and unaccountable. Right? And maybe even egotistical. And that's what kind of drives this. Kids want to get re-recruited. They think they can get to a better situation. And this kid who's going back to Alabama is kind of like, look, you weren't good enough to play in the league. That doesn't mean you get to go back to school. Like, if you had a bad day at work, do you get to say, hey, boss, can I go back to the dorm and sit down and smoke a bong hit and look at some cute girls? No, you got to show up and go to work, man. Like, that's what it is. Do better or do another job. So I think we're not really engendering these values that are coming over in sports. It just reminds me when I was looking at these college kids, it's like there's no rules anymore. They just get to do what they want. There's no allegiance. They just there to play sports.
And just to clarify, this is not a big-time All-American player we're talking about. He's 6'11" now. He's a 6'11" center, but he was in the G League for 3 years. And if you're in the G League and you want to go back to college, something is not right.
Yeah.
That means you're not playing. That means you're not getting a run in the G League either.
It's supposed to be a temporary stopover on the way to the NBA. So even being there 3 years, now I don't want to bust on the kid. He's a kid.
He's a buster.
Right? I'm gonna say it. But he's a buster. But the whole point is he's not good enough. He's not good enough for the next level. Right. So he begs back into the lower level. So I'm just saying, look, we are over obsessing over this kid a little bit. But I've just been thinking about it. I'm trying to enjoy sports right now. I'm worried about college because nobody's there for the right reason anymore.
You're right. So hey, he's Neal Scarbrough, the editor extraordinaire. My name is Ray Richardson, your LA Sports Connection. You can join the conversation right here on Out of Bounds. 1-800-920-1580. 1-800-920-1580. Also, we invite you, if you're out there in YouTube and you got some comments you want to drop in the box, feel free to do that. We will look at our phones and our computers throughout the show and give you a shout as well. 1-800-920-1580 is our number. When we come forward, time to get into some NFL talk. It's NFL Championship weekend. Our previous host told us some news that I was kind of surprised about. She's from Seattle. We will talk about that. The Rams at Seattle for the NFC, and the AFC is New England at Denver. We'll break it down for you. This is Out of Bounds right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Your sweet love, girl, is so unreal. I got love desire from your
is coming up on KBLA Talk 1580. Join the conversation with Ray Richardson and Neal Scarbrough at 1-800-920-1580.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt? Angela was. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $80,000. Felicia was having health problems, got behind on her taxes, interest and penalties were adding up. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $15,000. Civic Tax Relief is a professional tax negotiation firm that can protect you from the IRS. If you're getting collection letters, call Civic Tax Relief for a free consultation. They will go to work helping you discover all the relief programs you may qualify for free. James owed the IRS $37,000. Civic Tax Relief represented him against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, he did not owe the IRS anything. If you are in trouble with the IRS, call Civic Tax Relief for your free consultation now. 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257. Get a free consultation and real tax relief. Call 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257.
Hey, KBLA delegation, you know what's better than laughing? Laughing while celebrating the legends who made us laugh in the first place. KBLA Talk 1580 is proud to present our annual Black History Month luncheon. And this year, we're honoring comedy greats, trailblazers who broke barriers, and funny bones at the same time.
You had to grow up early when we was growing up because your parents were seen to the store to buy. You was too young to buy. I want you to go to the store, get me a fifth of gin and a pack of cigarettes. Mama, I'm two, they ain't gonna let me have that. Here, take this note. You be a little boy walking down the street with liquor and cigarettes. And your neighbors be going, that's a good little boy right there.
We need a little levity right about now. So we're rolling out the red carpet for comedy royalty. D.L. Hughley, Melanie Camacho, Earthquake, Lunel, Dion Cole, Martin Lawrence, and a surprise guest appearance. It's going up Thursday, February 26th in downtown LA at the Grammy Museum. An unforgettable afternoon of stories, celebration, and yes, plenty of laughs, because let's be real, these legends don't just tell jokes. They have changed the game, opened doors, and made history while making us smile.
You gotta go to child support court. You gotta get there real early in the morning. You see brothers going into court. You see them come out 3 hours later. I can't pay this. Let me talk to you, baby. Please, let me talk to the witness, Sean. Let me talk to the witness. Brother be working for 3 weeks, get his check is $43.
This year, for the first time ever, we have set aside a limited number of individual tickets for the luncheon. They are going to go fast, and when they're gone, they're gone. So, if you want a single ticket, or if your company or organization wants to sponsor a table, move swiftly and get to KBLA1580.com right now. All these comedy giants in one room on one stage at the same time? Stop it! This event is going to sell out quicker than right now and sooner than at once. KBLA Talk 1580's annual Black History Month luncheon, Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum. It's gonna be legendary, just like them.
What's up? What's up?
What's up? You got to laugh the pain away.
Ray Richardson, your LA sports authority, and Neal Scarbrough, the editor extraordinaire, are bringing the heat. It's Out of Bounds on KBLA Talk 1580. These guys have a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA, in the heart of Los Angeles, where we always have a lot to talk about. Welcome forward to Out of Bounds, a show that brings some flavor to the world of sports for 60 minutes. We're doing this for you every Friday night, 6 to 7 p.m. Pacific time. My guy Neal Scarbrough is in the house with us. My name is Ray Richardson. You can join the conversation right now at 1-800-920-1580. 1-800-920-1580. LA is on edge right now. LA is looking forward to Sunday afternoon Folks are trying to see if the Rams can get back to the Super Bowl. They were there in 2021. They've got a major challenge coming up Sunday. They are at Seattle. You know, this is a real interesting path they have taken. They have to go on the road for every playoff game they've had so far.
Wild card life.
Yeah, Carolina, then Chicago, and now Seattle. If they win Sunday and they beat Seattle, that to me says a lot about how good the Rams team is, because not many teams have made it to the Super Bowl as a wild card team. I know it's been done, but it doesn't happen too often.
Well, they got a couple things breaking in their favor relative to that, because it's these traditional third time you play a team in a game.
Yeah.
Both these games were decided by field goal, so they're pretty close games. So they probably go in there with a little confidence.
Yeah.
But before we talk about that game, I want to talk about last week for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, only because the game that the Rams won was incredible, right? And what Caleb Williams did at the end was something like I try not to give the kid as much credit. He's good, but man, he converted me a little bit on Sunday with that 48-yarder, and then the Rams came back and took it from him. And meanwhile, in Denver, the story was crazy. That was a really tight game, right? And there was a couple bad calls, a couple shaky calls, but it was a tight game. Boom, Sean McDermott got fired. Right? And now here we said, I'm just saying how different things could be this week. And then there we said we go to New England, and if C.J. Stroud had just a bad game instead of an awful game or a terrible game or a what are you doing in the league game, then it might be Houston going to Denver on Sunday. Because, the Patriots had played a great game. Don't get me wrong. But C.J. was so bad and their defense was so good until they just wore out that they should have won that game if they had decent quarterback play. So it's just funny. I don't want to review last week so much. It's already Friday. But we were almost in a totally different situation, right? Caleb was almost in Seattle, right? Buffalo was almost, hosting this game. Yeah. No, going to New England. Yeah. And New England should have been home and Houston should have been there. So these games that we have, it's kind of like, wow, it's more unlikely than it even looks on paper.
I feel sorry for Houston's defense, because that you told me about this a few weeks ago that, man, watch out for their defense.
Yeah.
And you were correct. That was probably the best defense I've seen all season. And for them to play like that, to keep them in the game like that, and see their quarterback let them down. And to his credit, I'm glad he admitted that he didn't play his best game, that he let the team down.
Yeah, I give the team a little credit too, because they rally around the guy. You don't let a guy wallow in his own failure. So look for Houston. But anyway, moving to this week, because we're in Ram City, and things look good for the Rams going up to Seattle just because of the familiarity. And one other factor, which is part of Seattle's offensive attack, is this 1-2 punch at running back with Charbonnet and with Kenneth Walker, and now there's no Charbonnet.
Right.
So we'll see how Kenneth Walker holds up that whole game, because he's had a great playoff too. But I'm a little worried about both quarterbacks, because the defensive pressure from these two teams may decide this football game, because Seattle will rough you up without one blitz.
Yep.
Like they just have some rough boys on that defensive line, and Stafford knows it, and the line knows it, and they protected him. But Darnold is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league under pressure, despite the fact that he's been running the NFC all season. I mean, he's a great success story.
We'll find out.
But they don't do so well under pressure. So that's really where this game's going to be figured out. It's like, if these quarterbacks are upright, I think neither of them will be, but whoever does better with his opportunities. And to me, that smells like Matt Stafford, but we'll see.
I got a little more faith in Stafford than Sam Darnold, because Sam Darnold has had such an up and down career.
Yep.
Up until last year when he's with Minnesota, we really didn't know how good of a quarterback he was going to be. But he showed some flashes that he can be an impact player.
Yeah.
I mean, he won 14 games last year, won 14 games this season. But this will be the litmus test for him. Can he deliver when everything is on the line? We have not seen him in this situation before. He's never been in this kind of situation before, so we're going to find out a lot about him as well.
Well, he's also stamped as a leader in Seattle.
He's found a home.
It's interesting that the team is kind of rallying around him. So to your point, if he actually has a C.J. Stroud first half or something like that, where all of a sudden, there's
that could be disastrous.
There's ghosts and interceptions, right? I think the team starts to go, okay, well, we got to play some serious defense, but our guy who's been leading us all year, we've embraced that could have an effect on them. But it's the Rams, it's familiarity, so. Conversely, it's a team they know, so you don't get too down when you're playing a team you're like, we can get these guys. So I think the Rams are going to win this game, but only because Seattle's hurt. They've got so many guys hurt, and especially their key number 2 running back.
It's kind of strange to say this, but there's some pressure on Matthew Stafford in going into this game. He has not played as sharp as he did in the regular season in the playoffs so far. He did not have a touchdown pass last Sunday at Chicago. First time he hadn't had a TD pass in a playoff game in 8 tries.
Yeah.
And he was sacked 4 times. So he's got some making up to do a little bit. He hasn't played horrible, but he hasn't been like just brilliant, you know, like he was in the regular season. So he's going to have to be sharp on his game. You cannot have him go into a game and not have a TD pass again. That's not going to work this time.
Well, you know what else has to happen that hasn't happened in this playoff, you know, relative to his performance is, you know, Devontae Adams has been seen, but not necessarily heard in these playoffs. He's had a couple key catches, that beautiful sideline catch last week, but he hasn't really produced like at a level where he's like the other weapon to Nacua. And he mentioned this week, did you tell me this is his 5th NFC Championship game, if not his 6th?
This is the sentimental aspect of this game.
Yeah, he hasn't been to Super Bowl yet, right? But how many games?
He's been to the NFC title game 4 times.
So this is 5.
All with Green Bay. This is number 5, and he's 0-4. So this is his chance again to make it. Now, he's 33 years old now. You don't know if he's going to get this many chances again. How many times do you get a chance to go to the Super Bowl? It's not that often, unless you're playing in Kansas City or if you were playing with Tom Brady back in the day. So a lot of people are rooting for the Rams mainly because of Devontae Adams. You know, he's been on the doorstep 4 times, and this is number 5. I would hate to see him not get a chance to go. That would be really frustrating.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's real. I mean, Seattle's the number 1 seed, so the Rams are actually favored, I think.
Seattle's
New England's favored. Seattle's favored.
Seattle's favored by 2 points. It was 2.5 a couple of days ago, but it's gone down to 2. So evidently, because of Sam Darnold and because they don't have their running back now, some of these odds are starting to shrink in the Rams' favor. Now, I don't put no faith in these odds at all anyway because
it's about the money, right?
That's just for the gamblers. But in terms of what the Rams can do to Seattle, I mean, the last time they were up there, I mean, they only lost by 1 point in overtime.
Yep.
I mean, they riddled Seattle's defense for 540 yards in total offense. So they know they can move the ball up there.
Yeah.
The question is, you know, can the Rams' defense stay on point and keep the game close? You know, say the Rams offense struggles a little bit. It's going to be on the Rams defense to hold their part.
Well,
that's my concern is the Rams defense.
Yeah, because Smith and Jigma's going to get his. This kid seems unstoppable to me. He's always good for 100 yards. Now the question is whether people like Rashid Shaheed can break loose. You know, he had that kickoff return last week on the opening kickoff. He's a speed demon, and if the Rams can deal with his speed, because that's the threat, you know, over the other side of the field when they're focused on Njigma. So I think that you make a really good point, but the Rams have been really active in that secondary, man. And so I have a lot of faith in them, but something tells me this is like Seattle's year. Even though I'd like to see the bone white and royal blue come through of the Rams, I feel like this is Seattle's year, and then they're not going to give this up at home.
Well, right now, the Rams secondary is probably the weakest part of their defense. The Rams first 7, their front 7 they got, you know, I would put them up against anybody, even Houston. They can get after you. You know, the front line, the defensive line, their linebackers are good, but it's their secondary that seems to be, you know, not quite, you know, ready to deliver like they should. Now, if these guys in the secondary can hold their own, Rams got a chance to do this. And I still give the edge to Sean McVay as a coach. Getting these guys prepared, getting these guys ready mentally, getting these guys in the right formations, getting them in the right part of their game, their game plan, the playbook. He's been there before. You know, Seattle's coach, he hadn't been here before.
But he's doing a nice job, man. He schemed that team. He has schemed that team forward. Let's put it that way.
He has.
Let's put it that way.
They had an impressive win against the 49ers. I got to give it to him. But, man, when it comes down to
They bloodied the 49ers.
They did. That was unfair. That was unfair. I don't think you will not see that on Sunday. I think Sean McVay has got his team really ready to do business.
It's the pressure because the Rams secondary is good a couple seconds after the snap. But they are not good downfield. Like, if they don't get pressure on it, that's when they get exposed a little bit. And so we got to see what they do. So what do you think is going to happen in Denver on Sunday?
That's another good matchup. That game goes off at 12 o'clock local time. Jarrett Stidham is a guy that a lot of people have never heard of before. But he's been around a while. He's been in the league 6 years. He was with New England for a few years behind Brady for a while. But the fact that he has never thrown a pass all season.
Not since 2023, I think.
Yeah, he has not thrown an NFL regular season pass in a while. I know, but you know the coach is going to have him ready up there. Their coach is really a good coach. He's experienced in postseason play. I got a feeling he's going to be okay. But you just don't know with that rusty factor And the inexperience, too. I just don't think he's going to be able to perform.
He's not as mobile as Nix. Nix has a little bit of uncanniness about getting loose in the pocket. But to your point, I think the defense understands this. The defense is playing with a quote-unquote, I'm not trying to bust on Nix, with an average quarterback all year. Yeah. And they understand their role in winning the game and field position and making it easy on that squad. So maybe they could do the same thing for Stidham now. You know me, I'm a Patriot hater. I call them the Hatriots.
All right.
But there's a huge but coming. But Vrabel has done such a good job, and Drake May is for real. Like this guy is not. There's no fluke. It's not like he's good and he's gonna fall back to the pack. This guy is good, and so Denver really needs to that defense is the key to winning this game because New England can play some serious defense too. So if Stidham is off, it's up to Denver's defense, or New England might actually shut them down. And Drake May, if he gets a couple of big plays downfield, Denver's gonna lose.
I think Drake May has got so much confidence right now, but he's had such a marvelous season. I don't think he's going to be intimidated at all by what he's going to be facing on Sunday. And he's got guys around him. I actually think he's got a little bit more talent around him than Tom Brady had back in the day. I want to put that out there. There were some years in New England where Tom Brady had marginal and average talent around him. But because they were such a great team, they used to beat everybody. Yeah. But I think in Drake May's in his situation, he's got more players to work with. I think he's got the ability to do that. All right, so we're going to see what happens on Sunday. Big time game in LA for Rams fans. Rams at Seattle. That's a 3:30 kickoff on Fox, and then the first game will be New England at Denver at noon. We'll keep you posted on that. We'll have a recap for you on next Friday. We'll know by next Friday.
Yeah, we'll be talking about the Super Bowl next week.
Yeah, we'll be talking about the Super Bowl next Friday. He's Neal Scarbrough. I'm Ray Richardson. When we come forward, we've got some Lakers talk to get to, some Clippers talk to get to, and a situation involving LeBron James that you do not want to miss. Him and Jeannie Buss have had a little bit of a word battle lately. We'll get into that. He's Neal Scarbrough. I'm Ray Richardson. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Friday night in prime time. This is Out of Bounds right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yo, Ron, what's up with that fly girl you left the jam with? She's sticking closer to you than the bread on the meat of my sandwich.
Every Friday night at 6 Pacific Time, it's Out of Bounds with Ray Richardson and Neal Scarbrough, the show that brings that barbershop flavor to the world of sports on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Black Texas Congressman Wesley Hunt is facing criticism from GOP leaders for missing dozens of House votes.
Sir, why haven't you been at votes?
Y'all be safe.
Speaker Mike Johnson expressed frustration after Hunt skipped a key ICE funding vote while campaigning for Senate in Texas, where he's currently trailing in the race. Los Angeles Black Mayor Karen Bass will deliver 2 State of the City speeches this year. The first one, February 2nd, will highlight preparations for the 2026 World Cup at Inglewood SoFi Stadium. A second, more traditional address is planned for mid-April and will focus on the city budget. And R&B singer Summer Walker is heading back on tour. The Grammy-nominated artist announced her Still Finally Over It trilogy tour, celebrating her last 3 albums. The tour kicks off in Toronto in May and wraps up in London in August. Tickets go on sale to the public January 29th. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Carson delays 91 eastbound, slowing down at Avalon as you continue ahead to the 605. More delays ahead in Anaheim from the 5 all the way to Green River in Corona. It's slow in Corona on the 15 southbound, leaving the 91 to Wyrick Road. Both directions crowding up in Ontario between the 60 and the 10. And that 15 northbound slowing again into the Cajon Pass at the 215 merge to the 138. It's also pretty tough along the 710 freeway. This is getting out of East LA. Delays from about Floral Drive as you continue ahead, looking a lot better by Bandini Boulevard.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford did not throw a touchdown pass in last Sunday's playoff win at Chicago. The Rams know that cannot happen in Sunday's NFC Championship game at Seattle. Look for the Rams to crank up their passing attack early to help Stafford find a receiver in the end zone as soon as possible. 3:30 kickoff on Fox. The winner goes to the Super Bowl. The Lakers are facing a tough stretch on their schedule. Starting tomorrow in Dallas, their next 6 games are on the road in the Midwest or Eastern time zone. The Lakers are 6th in the Western Conference, but they've lost 6 of their last 10 games. Tonight at 6, we've got your Friday night sports fix, out of bounds and prime time. Join me and my co-host Neal Scarbrough for 60 minutes of sports chatter with some black folks flavor. You can be a part of the conversation at 1-800-920-1580. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Break out the champagne. Everybody get a glass.
Tavis Smiley is now ranked number 16 nationally and the highest rated talk show hosted by an African American on the 2025 Talkers Heavy 100 list of the most important talk radio hosts in the nation. Last year, Tavis ranked number 33 and the year before, number 45. The Tavis Smiley Show has rapidly expanded its national syndication to now include nearly 50 radio stations across the country and counting. Congratulations, Tavis.
Yay, yay!
Looking for a purposeful and passionate way to make a difference in your community? Volunteer with our Senior Medicare Patrol and help prevent Medicare fraud. SMP volunteers work in their community educating peers about healthcare fraud and how to prevent and detect it. Free training starts soon. Check us out online or at an SMP open house near you. We're on a mission to stop fraud. Join our team. You make a difference. Visit caspvolunteer.org.
Shut up and dribble. Nah, son. Speak out and be heard. On the radio. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about. Believe that. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Ray Richardson and Neal Scarbrough, the editor extraordinaire, bring the flavor to the world of sports. It's Out of Bounds on KBLA Talk 1580.
Ball's caught at the 40. He's at the 30. The 20. He's at the 10.
These gentlemen have a lot to talk about.
Your relationship with Jeannie Buss, how do you feel like the kind of support and appreciation has been from Lakers ownership towards you in the latter stages of your Lakers tenure?
Quite frankly, I don't really get involved in that or the reports or whatever the case may be. I've seen a lot of it, obviously. But I don't really care about the reports, to be honest. I mean, you guys know me. You guys know since I've been here, in my 8th year here, been in this league 23 years, there's going to be another article tomorrow, especially involving me. And at the end of the day, when I came to this organization, my whole mindset was about restoring excellence, and the things that I've seen growing up, with the Lakers. Obviously, I didn't get an opportunity to watch the Showtime, but I know the history, and then in the early 2000s with Shaq and Kobe, and then what Kobe did, and, those couple runs with him and Powell. So, my whole mindset was like, how can I get, that feeling back to the Lakers organization? And I was able to do that along with, our 14, 16 other guys winning a championship, bringing a championship here. That's always been my mindset. So, quite frankly, I don't really care about articles. I really don't. I don't care about stories. I don't care about podcasts and all that type of shit. It don't bother me.
KBLA Talk 1580, where we always have a lot to talk about and sing about sometimes. Broadcasting live from the Mert Park, USA, in the heart of Los Angeles. Welcome forward to Out of Bounds, where we give you your Friday night sports fix in prime time with my guy, Neal Scarbrough. I'm Ray Richardson. You can join the conversation at 1-800-920-1580. 1-800-920-1580. We just heard some real talk from LeBron James, and just to kind of preface the reason why we played that clip, there was a story that came out on ESPN.com yesterday, and a real probing, in-depth type of story about some of the relationship situations going on between Lakers owner or former owner Jeannie Buss and LeBron James, and she made some comments that were somewhat critical of LeBron. Particularly, she wanted to kind of set the record straight that she was kind of unhappy about people thinking that LeBron saved the Lakers franchise since he's been here now. This is his 8th season with the Lakers, and the Lakers have sort of risen back to prominence to some degree. They won one title, and they've been in the playoffs a few times, but they missed it a few times also. But Jeannie Buss told the reporter that she just had a few issues with LeBron and his team, and how she perceives them as maybe trying to exert too much influence over the Lakers organization. So some of that stuff had came out, and LeBron was asked about it, and that was his response. I thought he handled the response very well, Neal. I thought he did the best he could with it. He did not ask for that question. He did not ask for that conversation. He gets put in situations, I think, that make it seem unfair to him. But this was one of these cases where he had to respond, and I think he did so very eloquently and did not add any more fire to it. Whatever Jeannie Buss was trying to say, I think she might have misspoke a little bit, maybe not to the intent that she meant. But whatever she said, it's obvious that there's some rumblings in the front office there about their feelings about LeBron and his impact on the Lakers organization. I just think there's some friction there that we may hear more about down the road somewhere.
Well, listen, when they were sold, it was like Mark Walter to the rescue of this dysfunctional family operation that was the head of one of the biggest sports franchises, the well-known franchise in the world, and obviously worth $10 billion. $10 billion. That was the valuation. So
$10 billion.
So this story was it was a little bit of a product of Baskerville Holmes writing about the family dysfunction that led to kind of the sales of the Lakers, and how the Lakers was like a wedge in the family. Mm-hmm. Like, you own the Lakers, and that's like, we got to get rid of this Lakers thing because it's messing up our family. I'd be like, we got to get rid of some family because they're messing up the Lakers. That's what I would have said. But anyway, and so out of those comments, she was like talking about some instances of where there was like where they didn't agree, right? Yeah. And one of them was about LeBron and thinking whether that was a change for the franchise. So look, I was here in LA before LeBron got here by a minute, and then he got here. And I feel like, the Lakers have been interesting since he got here, right? Yep. And they won that bubble title, and people could say it's legitimate or not, but he did blaze through the league and win a title, right? And they've been relevant in these conversations. Their roster hasn't always been great. Their performance hasn't always been great, but we're always talking about where the Lakers fit. We weren't doing that in the 5 or 6 years that they didn't make the playoffs before LeBron got here. Yeah. So there's some obvious positive value in him showing up here. Mm-hmm. And he's like, the league tilts, we've been paying attention to him. It's almost like his playing so old is like the story that people were hoping goes away, but at the same time, it's when you marvel it. So LeBron has his slot in Los Angeles lore, not as big as some other players, but it's here. And he's been an aid to the franchise, right? Now they got Luka, and they can start thinking about moving on. But she's talking about pre-Luka time, right? And so it's kind of like, I don't know what else they thought they had pre-Luka time, right? And even now, Luka's back to the Dallas Mavericks. Luka score a lot of points. The team ain't great. So I just think the Lakers this is just another sign of how the Lakers have always kind of been like hemmed in by their front office because everybody has the same last name.
And you know what? When LeBron has to answer questions like this, if he wants to play another year or so, and he's got the right to do that, he can move on after this season if he wants to, or he can retire. But stuff like this, I know he's probably, taking names and numbers, holding on to receipts.
Yeah, why bother?
And I'm saying if he wants to play again, I bet you he don't come back to the Lakers for next season. If he wants to play, I got a feeling he wants to get out of this.
Yeah.
I know he's got his family here. He's got all his business connections here. But that doesn't mean he can go play elsewhere. He can still have a home here.
He established those. Those are established.
Yeah.
That's about when he's not playing. So he can do his thing wherever.
I think this may have turned him off.
It has that potential. I mean, there's some other things that you can count on LeBron to also worry about, which is the team. They are coalescing a little bit. Like Austin Reeves is out. This could be a good team. Mm-hmm. So them making a nice run. I'm not sure they're a finals team.
No.
I'm not sure, they're not getting out of the West. But if they actually make a good run and acquit themselves better, they do better than the Clippers or in the play-in category right now. But if they make some noise during the playoffs, I think it's going to feel good about the basketball, and this stuff may kind of be in the rearview mirror for him. Because at the end of the day, that's kind of how he thinks. I don't think he does traffic in. Jeannie Buss may not like me that much. Like, he doesn't care. But if the Detroit Pistons call and they say, hey, we got a slot for you for 1 year.
Or Cleveland.
Well, I don't know about Cleveland because he can go get that title in Detroit. I don't know if he's going to go get it in Cleveland.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, but he might be able to
But from a sentimental value.
Yeah, sentimental. Yeah. But I think if he has a shot to get on an up elevator that says we're in the finals next year, that's his attraction. Other than that, stay where you are, be the king of L.A., retire
or the Knicks.
Here.
Or the Knicks.
Or the Knicks even.
Yeah.
I mean, or the Knicks. He could help the Knicks right now. That's for sure.
Oh, for sure.
That's for sure. And that's also a little marquee, like I'm here and look what I've done. But I don't think it's going to be because Jeannie misspoke or doesn't know how to appreciate the superstar. I think he's looking at a basketball move if he's going to play another year that's not in Los Angeles.
And I agree with that. Anyways, it's unfortunate bad timing because they lost last night to the Clippers in a great game.
That was a good game.
What an atmosphere at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood last night. The Clippers rose up. And speaking of the Clippers, they are 14-3. We have not spent enough time talking about them, but I promise we will next Friday. If they keep this up, right now they are 14-3 since December 20th, and they have climbed up to number 10, the 10th spot in the Western Conference. So they are in the playoffs. If the season ended tomorrow, they're in there after starting out 6-21.
They're sub 500 still. So
they're still sub 500, but man, they've got momentum, and they've got the best record in the NBA right now since December 20th. So props to the Clippers on that. The drama with the Lakers will be there. It's not going away. But I would keep your eyes on the chemistry of this team. Now, Austin Reeves may come back on this road trip. But their next 6 games are all on the road starting tomorrow. And they got to go to the cold country, the Midwest and the East Coast. This is not a good time to have some dirty laundry coming out.
I'm looking forward to Austin coming back. He might.
They're gonna need him.
He might be my favorite Laker, so I really like watching him play. But I don't want to sleep on these Clippers because you may not realize this, but mid-December there was a little meeting in Clipperland. And Kawhi convinced the Clippers that he could take 12 3-pointers a game. And that's when their run started.
All right, well, let's keep
keep an eye on that.
I will.
Because I read this essay and I looked at the numbers. I'm like, wait a second. This was a big difference. Now, you and I have this opinion, and I know we got to run in a second. Zubac is a big difference for the Clippers.
He is.
Every team they play doesn't have a Zubac.
He is.
And they need to lean on that. You get 25 from James Harden, 28 from Kawhi. Zubac could be a difference. I think this team's going to finish above 500 and in the real playoffs, not in the play-in.
I'm rooting for him, to be honest. I hope they turn it around for Ty Lue's sake. All right, he's Neal Scarbrough. I'm Ray Richardson. This is Out of Bounds. You can join the conversation. What do you think about that? The Lakers, the Clippers, and we got some talk about NFL head coaching vacancies. Still 6 teams out there looking for a head coach. We do not know if we're going to see a African-American get one of these jobs. We'll talk about that when we come forward. He's Neal. I'm Ray. This is Out of Bounds right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's your Friday night sports fix. Out of Bounds in prime time with Ray Richardson and Neal Scarbrough. Every Friday night at 6 Pacific time on KBLA Talk 1580.
When the Eaton fire tore through our community, the loss was immediate, but the impact didn't end when the flames went out.
Between today and the fires, we moved 16 times.
I haven't been able to sleep, and I don't know when.
Ashes and Echoes presents an immersive oral history exhibit created to preserve the voices of residents, business owners, and community members who lived through the fire.
I heard evacuate. I said, okay, it's time for me to go.
I think about it every day. Every little thing reminds me about the fire.
These stories are preserved for generations, not as headlines, but as lived truth.
I'm going to miss a community that kind of saw people for who they are.
I'm so grateful to my mother for raising us there because she wanted to raise us in that type of environment.
Join us January 31st through February 3rd at the Pasadena Convention Center. Admission is free and open to the public. Come listen, come remember, come heal. Visit ashesandechoes.org for more info.
LA Fire Justice is proud to sponsor Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Ray Richardson, your LA Sports Authority, and Neal Scarbrough, the editor extraordinaire, are bringing the heat. It's Out of Bounds on KBLA Talk 1580. These guys have a lot to talk about.
I'm the joystick. I'm the joystick. I'm the joystick. Take control.
KBLA Talk 1580, broadcasting live from the Murph Park, USA. Welcome forward to Out of Bounds, a show that brings some flavor with some black folks flavor. Every Friday night, 6 to 7 in prime time, we're Out of Bounds on KBLA Talk 1580 with Neal Scarbrough, the editor extraordinaire. My name is Ray Richardson, your LA Sports Connection. Well, we got to get back into some NFL talk just for a little bit. There are 10 head coach openings have happened since the end of the regular season.
Wow, 1/3 of the league.
Yeah, 1/3 of the league. 4 teams have hired a coach, so that leaves 6 remaining. Here's the teams that have hired a coach. Baltimore has hired Jesse Minter, the Chargers defensive coordinator. Miami has hired a guy named Jeff Hafley, the Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator. Atlanta has hired Kevin Stefanski, former Cleveland Browns head coach. And your New York Giants have hired John Harbaugh as their new head coach. So that leaves Atlanta, that leaves Cleveland, Tennessee, Buffalo.
Tennessee hired Saleh.
I'm sorry. Did that go down for sure?
Yes, for sure.
Okay,
Yep.
So that's 5 left.
Yeah, 5
so
and 5. Yep.
5 and 5. So Cleveland, Buffalo, Las Vegas, Pittsburgh, and Arizona are the teams that are left. So out of those 10, there are 5 openings left. And I heard something today that kind of blew my mind and made me a little disturbed. I heard, and you probably heard this too, but Buffalo is getting ready to interview Phillip Rivers for their head coaching position. Now, this ain't nothing against Phillip Rivers. I loved him as a quarterback.
Yeah, he's great.
He balled out when he played for the Chargers. I loved him with the Chargers. Him and Antonio Gates were a great team. But he has been coaching only high school football since he retired. And if Buffalo brings him in just to talk to him, that means they're thinking about him. What does that say to other guys who have been around the league who are trying to work their way up the ladder, coordinators, assistants? You know, that does not send a good message to me or the rest of the league that you even want to have a conversation with Phillip Rivers and a guy like Sean McDermott, who took them to 8 playoffs in 9 years, and you talk about bringing in a high school coach to replace him? There's something wrong with that.
Well, there is something wrong with that, and it's not even so much what the other coaches think, because they think what you and I think, which is what the hell is Buffalo doing, right? You know, like we said, we're fans of Phillip Rivers, but remember they had a press conference this week where they kind of explained why they fired the guy, and it was a disaster.
It was.
And like every story said the word disaster.
It was.
Is next to this press conference because the owner tried to back the GM who he promoted to president of football operations, and he also attributed him firing McDermott to I just felt like in the locker room we kept coming close and it wasn't good enough, and I saw my players upset, and I'm just like, this coach got to go.
Yeah.
So Sean McDermott did a great job there, man.
He did.
I think his spot should be Cleveland. I think they should hire him as a program builder and watch what happens. I think he'll be fine. He can't. He's fair skinned. He always wears them sun hats, so he can't go to Arizona and do the same thing. There's too much sun out there.
Okay.
Maybe Vegas too. But anyway, I think he'll be back and he'll show his mettle. But this is really about what is Buffalo doing.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like, it's cool to kind of talk to Phillip Rivers, and we like the guy, but all the things you have to surround Phillip Rivers with to be a successful coach, just because he hasn't done it, so your scouting team and these other things that Buffalo has also been struggling with. That's part of the issue with their lack of success. McDermott coached them up. They didn't have a great roster, right? They had a pretty good roster, and it wasn't a cheap roster, but they didn't really get coached. They got coached up better than they were. So I'm sorry about my ramble. My point is that's about them being a little dysfunctional. Now, I'm a little bit more concerned. First of all, hats off, Eric Bieniemy being rehired as the Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator. So he took that odyssey looking for a coaching job. Somebody didn't want to hire a short brother, so he's back on the circuit. But the Chiefs brought him back, their most successful offensive coordinator. So boom, a little progress there. But we got Brian Flores they're waiting for. Raheem Morris should have never got fired. Right. Anthony Weaver's making the rounds. And so everybody's playing this little Rooney Rule game. And the day after the brother leaves, they hire a traditional coach. Now, Salah represents us a little bit, so we'll give him a little bit of credit because he's an Arab.
Give him a half a point.
Yes, he's an Arab coach. So we'll give him a point. Like, he's a non
But the true brothers, we don't see them in this mix yet.
Well, yeah, I mean, Flores seems to be like the front runner in Pittsburgh, but they keep on bringing in candidates and younger. They're waiting for the two young Rams too, Shula and Shieldhouse. Now, Shieldhouse is a guy of color, and I like that young look for the Steelers. Same with Flores; he's only in his 40s, but they're talking to Mike McCarthy too, and so that just doesn't seem.
I know you don't like that.
Well, he's from Pittsburgh, and I get it, and he's a CEO. He can run a football team, but he's 60-something. Steelers don't be hiring 60-year-old guys. They hire guys that want to sit there for 15 years and embed them for a while. Yeah. So I don't know if that's the right fit for him, or at least they don't want to rehire again in 2 or 3 or 4 years. But McCarthy's not a terrible coach. So that's not worse. But we want Brian Flores to get hired. Yeah. We want the league to go, you know what, we did wrong this dude. He shouldn't have got fired in Miami. And then he shouldn't have got that okie doke where the Giants actually hired Brian Daboll the day before
they were talking to him.
Yeah, before they even interviewed Brian Flores. So we all want that to be right. So let's so just get this right, league. You know, you don't have to hire African Americans for every job, but please rehire Brian Flores.
Yeah,
that's what we want to see, and I hope the Steelers do it.
Well, right now there's only 3 black head coaches in the NFL. Todd Bowles at Tampa Bay, D'Amico Ryan with Houston, and I'm missing somebody. Tomlin's no longer there, so it may only be 2. Am I missing somebody?
Yeah, there's somebody else we're missing.
All right, anyway, but right now the percentages are not good right now, and with the 10 openings, none of these openings have gone to a black head coach yet, and you got 5 left. And I'm gonna throw this stat out right quick for everybody who may not know this. There are 11 teams in the NFL that have never hired a full-time black head coach. 11. And the Rams are one of them. Buffalo is on that list. Dallas, your Giants, Jacksonville, Seattle, Baltimore, New Orleans, Washington, Tennessee, and Carolina.
Yep.
So the NFL still has some work to do in terms of their push for diversity. Now, they're big on diversity, but when you got 10 openings in the offseason and you still haven't seen a black head coach get a job yet, there has to be some concern about that at some point.
Well, listen, we make a thing of it because the league makes a thing of it.
Yeah.
Right? They got a Rooney Rule, and they always talk about, like, try to explain it away or celebrate when somebody of color gets hired. So for all the people like, why are we always going to bring up race? Because the league is focused on it, and then they actually say they want to do something and they don't do it. So we're just there with them, clocking them, because we like black coaches too.
Yeah.
Right? And so we're looking for that to happen.
So we're going to keep track on that. But when we come back next Friday, we hope we can tell you about another black coach getting hired in the NFL. And there's a lot of teams that still need to hire a coach. We will keep you updated on that. A quick shift to entertainment. we heard something yesterday that really was a major news story in Hollywood. The movie Sinners generated 16 Oscar nominations. That is a lot for a film that had a lot of black folks that were in that production. Congratulations to filmmaker Ryan Coogler. Mm-hmm. That was his film. And one of these 16 nominations is up for Best Actor is Michael B. Jordan. Great actor, tremendous actor. But I bring this up because we wanted to talk about right quick what sports movies are out there or have probably already been produced and we've already seen. What sports movies do you feel could generate some Oscar buzz like that? And we talked about Rocky. That was Sylvester Stallone's first boxing movie in 76.
Won Best Picture, right?
And that movie did win Best Picture in 76. But there's some other sports movies that I was just totally impressed with. And I'm going to throw mine out here right quick, and you can add to it. White Men Can't Jump. Mm-hmm. I love that film. Love and Basketball. Brian's Song, which was a sort of a tearjerker back in the day. Remember the Titans? Denzel was one of the high school coaches there trying to get through segregation and discrimination and all that. So those are the movies that I had on my list. Did you have one you want to add to that?
Well, yeah. Well, I helped you on part of that list, but we left out a big one, man.
Go ahead. Hit me with it.
The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh.
He's kidding, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know if I'm kidding. That was Dr. J. They had some slow motion effects on him, like dogging people on the court.
You know what? That was a good movie.
Hold on. Let me repeat what I said. It was Dr. J.
I know.
All right? It was Dr. J. The Godfather of basketball. You can have all the goats all you want. The Godfather of basketball.
You know
the NBA, ABA is Dr. J. And he was in a movie called The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh.
Look it up, everybody.
I'm putting it up there.
Look it up, everybody.
No, but I'm going to tell you, one of my favorite sports movies is not so much about sports. I loved the Jackie Robinson movies, all of them, but certainly 42.
Yeah.
I like The Express also about Ernie Davis.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite movies is actually The Sandlot.
Yeah.
Which is a kid's movie about some kids playing in the backyard.
Yeah.
That movie was so fire, so I'm always going to put that movie up there because it was a great flick. And so Sandlot and all the rest of them for me.
All right, good luck to Sinners. That's our time, everybody. The end of regulation. We got to get out of here. We'll be back to do it all over again next Friday. Special thanks to the all-pro work of Mr. Andy, brother Andy in the upper room, handling things for us in the room over there. We appreciate that. And thanks to all of you for tuning in, especially to all of you in the YouTube chat. You guys were on fire tonight. We thank y'all for y'all support. We'll be back again to do it all over again next Friday at 6 o'clock. Stay tuned, everybody, for my man Zoe Williams with the best of the Voice of Reason coming up. He's going to help you with your relationships for the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. This is Out of Bounds right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Stay black.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Black Texas Congressman Wesley Hunt is facing criticism from GOP leaders for missing dozens of House votes.
Sir, why haven't you been at votes?